Hello everyone, welcome to mini lecture series by SGS Labs. Today I, Amitesh and Shivam are going to talk about emotional design. Before we start, the lecture is been recorded, so please keep your mics muted during the lecture. You can send your queries in the chat. We'll also have Q&A session at the end.
Avitesh, next slide. Also, we are drawing heavy inspiration from Don Norman's principles of emotional design from his famous book, Emotional Design by Don Norman. So, in case you want to learn more about this topic, this book is highly recommended for that.
So first, let's see how we define emotions. Emotions are biological states associated with the nervous system brought on by neuropsychological changes variously associated with thoughts, feelings, behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure.
Now that we have defined emotions, let's talk about emotional design. According to Norman, as per Norman's definition, emotional design strives to create products that elicit appropriate emotions in order to create a positive experience for the user. Product designers use this design approach to design creative interfaces in order to trigger a positive emotional response from the user. The emotion that a product generates can have a great impact on users' perception of the product.
Now we'll talk about elements of emotion. A user's emotional model can be classified into four main elements. These emotional elements are laid out for designers to access and take advantage of. The first one is emotion memory link. Emotionally charged events persist in our memories beyond the product's base functional value. We remember things that make us feel a certain way. Reminding a user of a prior experience they had with a similar product helps them get more familiar and trust it more. A perfect example can be of Google. As Google has gained a trust in its users, that trust helped Google to make its new product successful among its users. The second one we'll talk about is aesthetic usability effect. It is aesthetically pleasing experiences empower usability and make the users more willing to learn and adapt the ins and outs of the product. A good, appealing onboarding can play a vital role in exploiting the user to learn and adapt its product.
The third element of emotion is persuasive emotion, or the gut feeling. Emotions enable users to make gut and swift decisions. We use cognition to understand and interpret our world, but our emotions catalyze the decision-making process. The ownership effect. Users place core value in experiences where they feel a sense of personalized ownership, as if the experience or the product is just an extension of themselves. Something as simple as Pinterest way of asking for your fields of interest when making a new account to personalize your feed makes the user feel that they are in the process of building a product for themselves.
Now we'll talk about the levels of emotional design defined by Don Norman. So Don Norman has defined the levels of emotional design to three levels that are largely interconnected and have a great influence on design. The three levels of design are as follows. The first level is visceral design. Visceral design is a subconscious level of reaction when users encounter a product. Generally, it deals with beauty and distinguished quality from look and feel and sensory involvement. Users give immediate and strong reactions to visceral design. Now we'll talk about benefits of visceral design. So they set a positive context for every subsequent interaction. The second point is the users are mainly more likely to forgive faults down the line if the initial experience was overwhelmingly positive. Love at first sight will encourage positive socialization of the product. Some unique ways that product evoke visual reactions are through playful and delightful onboarding and success states, typically carefully woven together with motion design.
The second level of Norman's three levels of emotional design is behavioral design. Behavioral design is related to the usability, familiarity of the product, and users' perception of how well it functions and how user-friendly it is. In behavioral design, function, physical feel, and performance of a product matter the most. In this level, users form a firm opinion about the product. When you really know your users' needs, you can ensure a good behavioral design. Powerful and positive behavioral reactions have the following benefits. Wait, there's next slide. Yeah. So the first point, they allow users to feel a sense of empowerment. The next point, they cultivate trust and reliability by creating a direct correlation between a user's action and the expected value. Lastly, they encourage repeat actions as people are more inclined to want the experience that delight them again. The best example of products evoking usability as well as familiarity is the use of gestures in Google Maps, which we use daily in our lives.
Lastly, the third level, which is reflective design. A reflective design is how we feel after we have been immersed in the experience. It is how we remember the experience itself and how it made us feel. At this level, designers will want to increase the user's aspiration to buy the product. It determines whether we want to try that experience again or shun it altogether. Now, the benefits of reflective design. First point is they encourage users to share their experiences with others. Secondly, they evoke a sense of pride and identity from using a product that extends beyond the product itself. In short, reflective emotional design captures the meaning of the product, the impact of thoughts, the shareability of the experience, and its cultural impact. React feature in Facebook and other social networking sites is a perfect example for reflective design.
So just to summarize, all the above mentioned three levels of emotional design are important in order to make a product appealing for the users. Visceral design refers to the appearance of the product. Behavioral design refers to the product functioning. And reflective design refers to the long-term impact of the product. When these three levels of emotional design are combined appropriately, a great design is created.
So, how do you design an effectively emotionally charged experience? Here are some tips to get started. Firstly, is uses of images, videos, and mascots. Everybody knows a picture is worth 1,000 words, and perhaps a video a million. Visuals are extremely important in including emotional responses in users for enhanced engagement. Some popular examples can be MailChimp's and Duolingo's cute mascots. Here are the images of them. Secondly, we can use using humor and storytelling. Humor is relatable and makes the great conversation. Take a look at how Mailchimp reacts when a 404 error occurs or Slack when it stuck during a while. Allowing customization. Customization, no matter how small or big, provides users with the impression that they are in control. Including a sense of control in the user is an extremely powerful positive emotion, like how Spotify asks your music taste to recommend music more akin to your liking, or Pinterest, which does the same to personalize your feed. Introducing surprises. Take an example of how Google Pay rewards a scratch card for every transaction. The fact that the user has a possibility to win something at the end of a transaction heightens the whole experience of using the app.
So why are we talking about this? Why do we even care if the products show emotions or not? Well, next slide. It's because no one likes to talk or interact with robots and machines. Humans at their core are more emotional than logical. Next slide. According to Aaron Walter's user needs pyramid, pleasure is at the apex of the pyramid, which constitutes the ultimate need of us humans. Emotional design is the crux of changing user behavior. It is critical that designers understand how emotional design envelops the entire experience, from first discovering the product to using it, and finally to thinking about the product after it has been used. It is not enough to cultivate an experience with just love at first sight. That love must be perpetual, enduring, and shareable. Thanks for listening. We are open to any queries.